Hi, I'm Jason from StrataGames. Today we're playing some more Pauper. This is Black Sac. This is my stock list that I've been playing for the last few weeks and that I got top 8 with in a challenge a couple of weeks ago, and that I've written a 50-page guide on, including 30 sideboard matchups. If you're interested in that guide, you can buy it for $10 on my Metafy, or you can sign up on my Patreon at the $10 level or more, and you will get access to it as well. But this deck, we are playing Carrion Feeders, Bloodthrone Vampires, and Mortician Beetles as our growers in order to kill our opponent as quickly as possible. Nested Shambler, Infestation Sage, and Nezumi Linkbreaker are our fodder creatures. We have a little bit of card draw. We can unearth or supernatural stamina any of our creatures for various effects. One of the best ones to do that with is Cursed Marauder to make our opponent sacrifice an extra creature. And we have Sadistic Glee to turn any of our creatures into a grower. Sylvok Lifestaff is a main deck way to beat Burn, a couple Rites of Initiation, and Wedding Invitation for Reach. In our sideboard, we got Plagued Rusalka, Rotten Reunions, Tragic Slip, another Marauder, 4 Mesmeric Fiends, a Crypt Incursion, 2 Drowning Sorrow, Spinning Darkness, Sylvok Lifestaff, and Nile Spellbomb. A whole swath of cards that'll help us with several matches. Let's jump into some games. Upstate New York Pauper is holding a charity tournament on June 21st to help support Trans Lifeline and the Trevor Project. This is looking to be a great tournament with a bunch of prizes and, of course, for a great cause. And if you're like me, pretty far away from New York, there's a place where you can donate so that you can stay involved. There's a link in the description for more details, and let's try to make the world just a little bit better. All right, on the play here, Kid Brennan, I believe, plays White Weenie, and this hand is terrible. We do have a Rite of Consumption, which isn't bad, but we have 2, which we don't want. Cursed Marauder's not great against White Weenie if that is what they're playing. We just have no payoffs or anything, so we got a mulligan. This has no lands, otherwise seems solid, but not going to be able to keep it. This hand is okay, obviously not great when it's at 5. We're going to keep, and I think we're going to get rid of the Ghast and the Unearth, try to keep as much value as possible. So start with a Sage. Does look like White Weenie with the 3-man Inspector coming out. Sylvok Lifestaff, not a great card in this matchup. We're just going to play a Vampire and pass. They have an Informant. Discard a Prismatic Strands. That's going to be pretty annoying. And swing for a damage. No, they opt out of it. Another Vampire. I think we're just going to try to draw 2 cards. Sadistically is not bad. We're going to just start with the Lifestaff, though. If we get a Glee on the Insect and they don't have any flyers, we can maybe get there, but also we don't have a lot of sack fodder. It's also nice to put a Glee on a Squirrel or Mercenary token because they are not black, which means that they'll have to use their Prismatic Strands on one of 2 colors. But right now we don't have any of those. They play a Skyfisher, probably pick up the Inspector, play that, swing with the Informant. I could just trade with the Insect. I kind of think we're not in a great spot, but we kind of need to survive. So I guess we'll make this trade. And we draw another Swamp, which is pretty bad for us. Maybe I should have waited till the Sadistic Glee was down to start making trades. I don't even think I want to put it down, though, now, because then if they have like a 3-man Charm, even if I sack this, it's not going to keep it alive. So we're just going to pass. Idyllic Grange on the Inspector. Swing with both. Guess we'll just take it. They're going to pass. Interesting. And we get a Swamp. I think of our last 2 draws were relevant cards, a double fodder creature and something else. Especially if it was like Nested Shambler and a Supernatural Stamina. We would have a shot, but this one's looking rough. They're going to crack a Clue. And another. They have a Battle Screech, Inspector, Flashback, and swing for 4. And now we get a Stamina. Yeah, we're not going to be able to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Problem is Rites of Consumption is actually damage, so Prismatic Strands could prevent it. Otherwise, I might try to play to that, but I don't see a way that we're going to win because of that. We do get Graveyard Hate and Drowning Sorrows and Rusalka. Take out Marauder, Unearth, Lifestaff, and a Linkbreaker. We'll start. I don't usually keep a 1-lander without card draw, but we have some hate, some fodder, and we don't want to go in a Bloodthrone Vampire if we don't have to. We'd prefer to do Carrion Feeder Beetle because they are sustainable and can survive over the course of... Like, a Bloodthrone Vampire pretty much dies to a Prismatic Strands because we can't... If we sack everything, we just lose everything. But these guys can attack over and over and over, so they're better to have. So this hand is a little bit of everything we want, but I'm going to keep it even though it is 1 land. And we do get the second land, which is obviously very nice. They don't even have a 1-drop, which is interesting. We're just going to slam the Beetle and some fodder. And we know we're going to want to sacrifice. So I'll just do 1 here. And They could have a Journey to Nowhere. I think we're still going to go for it. And just attack for 3 here. Alright, Squadron Hawk. Okay. Not a lot of decks, not a lot of white Weenie playing Squadron Hawk at the moment, I don't think. I only got 1. Right isn't bad. So we're just going to play a Sage, play a Spellbomb, and swing. And if they don't block, we're just going to make them 5/5s. One of them still dies to a Journey to Nowhere, but then we sack it to the other one. We have a 6/6, and that almost kills them with the Right of Consumption. Plus, it's just a 6/6 attacking them. They have another Squawk. Tutor up just 1 more. Thought they might tutor up 2 and then like pitch a Prismatic Strands. I'm trying to think what 1 mana spells they could have that are going to interfere here. A Mana Tithe, I guess. It's always a possibility. We're going to swing with both of these guys. They're just going to block 1. I mean, I really don't think I'm getting Mana Tithed. I think I can afford to just pass. You always want to think, how do I lose in this match? And the way I lose is them having a random Mana Tithe and me, which I realize is not very well used, but I think the chances of them tapping out are very likely. And if they tap out, we can just Right of Consumption them, no problem. So there's nothing to fear. We'll attack. Just on the off chance they have something weird, at least we get our attack in. But then we're going to Right of Consumption, throw this Beetle. Alright, that was a very good start for us. If we didn't draw the second land, it could have been rough, but they didn't have a very good start either. No 1-drop into probably their worst 2-drop, being a 1/1, was pretty good for us. Let's hope we can do that again. This one's okay. We have Feeder, Beetle, Shambler with some card draw, and we have Sadistic Glee, which can be really good on the Shambler because it can grow and make more squirrels, or we can put it on a squirrel to, like I said, dodge Prismatic Strands better. So Swamp. I can't lead with one of these two because they could just Thraben Charm it, so I think we'll just lead on a Shambler. They're not going to care about that. There's a Squawk. I do need another piece of fodder because I don't really want to sack this until I'm getting more stuff out of it, I don't think. Shambling Ghast is not bad. I could use that to pick off a Veteran right here. I think we'll wait. I think I'm just going to attack. I don't expect to block. Yeah, get in for 1, and then we're going to play these 2. If they have a Thraben Charm, they can definitely still take one of these out because we could only sack to make it a 4/4, but that takes most of their turn, and we'll be fine. To lose one of them, I think. They have an Inspector, and then a Hawk. They'll ping in for 1. Swamp. Okay, so I think I want to play Shambling Ghast. I think I do want to make a Squirrel and put a Sadistic Glee on it, which means I should just start by Village Rightsing the Shambler. Looks a little weird, but I think having a Squirrel attacker is pretty good. Drown in Sorrow is also great here. Okay, so now I'm going to Sadistic Glee on the Squirrel, play a Shambling Ghast, and attack. They could throw a bunch of things in front of like the Feeder if they want, but I have a Shambling Ghast to pick something off. We're going to sack this, since I'm not going to care to pick anything off, because we have the Drown in Sorrow. Oh, but killing something makes it so the Sadistic Glee grows right now, in case I don't draw any fodder or anything. I think that's good. Let's just take out the Lunarch Veteran, grow the squad, and hit for 5 here, and then pass. They're going to get back their Phantom, and just leave up 2 mana, get a Swamp. So the Carrion Feeder's only a 2/2, kind of annoying. So the fact that they've left up 2 mana, that could be a Thraben Charm, but it can't be a Prismatic. I think we're not going to play the Drown in Sorrow quite yet. I want to get more out of it, but I also don't want to kill off her Feeder, unless they go to kill the Feeder right now. They go for the Squirrel. They are worried about it. They know Prismatic is one of the ways that they get out of this. So yeah, we're going to have to just sacrifice it. They have 8 damage here, so I can't keep it alive. But I made them use a premium removal spell on a token, so I don't hate that. And now I swing at the Feeder and they block with everything. I could just sack, and eat them all. I don't think I want to attack with the Feeder on the off chance that they do block with everything, seeing as we already have a way to sweep away all their creatures. But if they block with everything here, I can sack the Bloodthrone Vampire, and our guy eats all their stuff. They're just going to chump, gain a life. They have an Informant. We know they have 2 Squawks left in hand, so only 1 other unknown card. About to be 2, because they'll probably discard a Hawk, but no, they discard a Battle Screech. Okay. And they flash it back. Alright, so they could have Prismatic or Guardian's Pledge. The Guardian's Pledge makes Drown in Sorrow pretty awkward, but if I can bait out a Prismatic Strands, then I won't have to worry about the Guardian's Pledge. So I think we just attack with all. Although if we attack with this guy, they block here. I have to double sacrifice this. I don't love that. And then if they deal damage, this will actually still die. So I'll just swing with these two, I think. They triple block the Carrion Feeder. That makes me think... I don't know what that makes me think. Makes me think they want to get rid of the Carrion Feeder. I'm going to sack the Link Breaker to at least take out the extra bird. Sack the Mercenary. I think we're going to sack the Bloodthrone Vampire. It'll keep the Carrion Feeder alive. They then have a Thraben Charm. It's kind of bad, but at least I get to swipe their board away. So I think they have the Prismatic. Yeah, I don't think they're just letting these go to waste, which is good because we can now just Drown in Sorrow. Although that does kill our Carrion Feeder. But it leaves them with just 2 Hawks. It leaves us with just an 8/8. I don't actually think I can do that. I don't think one creature with them being able to chump block twice, plus a Prismatic, plus a Clue, that's not going to get us there. So I actually think I have to pass and then Drown in Sorrow next turn and just hope they don't have a Guardian's Pledge. Well, we know they drew an Idyllic Grange, but that's going to keep the Informant alive. And they crack a Clue. And they're going to swing. I guess if they just have Guardian's Pledge, if they just drew that, that's probably lethal. Well, that's pretty unlucky for us, I guess. Alright, I played against them the other night. They were playing Jeskai Ephemerate. This hand's not good. So we'll see if they're still on Ephemerate. This hand's a little better. We're going to keep, and I think I'm just going to get rid of the Invitation. Conduit Pylon, so it looks like a different deck. Rowan's Grim Search, that means Tron, yep, so does Map. Okay, in that case, I think we just go with the Beetle. Good thing we got rid of the Invitation, because that seems useless. I guess if it's an Ultratron or something, usually Tron has some creatures, but not a big deal. Carrion Feeder's a great draw. Against Tron, we just kind of want to go fast, so I'm just going to attack. And since we have more fodder in hand, I'm just going to sacrifice this guy twice to start our train a roll in. 3 damage. And they didn't hit a Tron land on either of their first 2, which is pretty good for us. Ideally, we should have them dead before they get to it now, barring any crop rotations or anything. They sack the map right away. Also good for us. Power Plant and pass. If we get a Shambling Ghast off the top, we can just win. Infestation Sage. Oh no, we would need another land too, so never mind. Well, this is just 4, 7, 14 damage. Or I could go for the Village Rites to try to hit another land, but I don't think that's necessary. I think we just attack, sacrifice. I think maybe we keep 1 back because the difference in life total is negligible. They go to 5 here. Even if they gain a little bit of life from a Candy Trail or something, I think we're going to be able to deal them enough. So I'm just going to leave it there, keep 1 guy. Just in case they have some removal for these or whatever. They have a Mine. I don't think they're Flickertron or Fogtron, so I don't think they're going to have Moment's Peace, but even if they do, we have a Right of Consumption. Energy Refractor is fine. Alright, we had a fast enough start. Alright, I guess Rowan's Grim Search might be like a Eggs Tron? I don't exactly know what kind of flavor of Tron this is, but Graveyard Hate is always a safe bet, and Mesmeric Fiends are, of course, phenomenal. So we're going to take out the Invitation, the Marauders. We don't need Shambling Ghast, Sylvok Lifestaff. And generally, I would take out a Link Breaker in if I just need one other card gone, but I don't think they're going to have very many creatures, so I think Infestation Sage, the flying, is less relevant than the Pump. So I think we're just going to do that. Alright, this hand is not amazing, but I think it can be fast enough. So, and has a little redundancy. So if we just go like Beetle, Vampire, and then some guys, I think we're okay. Start with the Pylons again. They leave it on top this time, and also have a map. Gonna lead on the Beetle. Polluted Mire again. They have a Candy Trail this time, but similar start where they're not gonna hit Tron till turn 5. We don't have quite as fast of a start unless we top deck a Carrion Feeder, though. Then again, Bloodthorn Vampire can make up the extra mana of its cost by dealing a lot of extra damage really quickly. Rotten Reunion, okay. I mean, if we just draw a Supernatural Stamina next turn, we could definitely have lethal, because that would be 6 triggers off a Shambler for a total of 20 damage here. They play a tower and just pass. Get a Swamp. We're going to play a Sage, a Shambler. I think we're just going to leave up a Rotten Reunion on the off chance that it matters. Like if they play a Moment's Peace or something here. I think we'll sacrifice for a little bit of damage, but we don't need to go all in because the Vampire doesn't keep the counters, so if they do have some way to prevent damage here, it's just a bigger blowout. And I think I'm just satisfied going for like 2 sacrifices here. Trying to hit for 8 damage. It's a good amount. We'll pass. I'm going to crack the map for a plant. Would love to top deck a Mesmeric Fiend, see what's going on over there. Mirror Retriever. Yep, so it is Tron. That was what I was thinking, but it was definitely not 100%. A Kark Clan Shaman. Okay. Well, Rotten Reunion can take out the map if they sack this. Spellbomb can do that too. They only have 2 artifacts to sacrifice, so it's not like they can go crazy to try to save the vampire. Or rather, kill the vampire. I think I'm just going to play a Shambler. I know that they can, like, eat them both, but it's okay. And I'll play a Spellbomb here. Maybe should have played that first, but no, I wanted more guys so that the vampire would be more likely to win, to survive. I guess if they sack before they block, they are just dead. So they can't really afford to. I don't have any way to get their guys gone, though, so I could just attack with the Beetle, but I kind of want to make them use the Kark, so let's just swing with both. They still don't have to, because if they just block here, I can only make this a 9/9 if I sack everything, including the Rotten Reunion guy. They do go for the double block, so we'll sack a Shambler. They're going to sack the Retriever, targeting the map, and if I sack this Shambler... If I sack the Shambler, they might try to sack the Candy Trail thinking there's nothing else for us to sacrifice. And then we get them with the Rotten Reunion. We get to eat a card by doing that. We do lose the extra Squirrel. We get a big Beetle out of it. I think it might be fine. Let's just sack the Shambler. Maybe they just let it go and that's fine, but I could see them sacking the Candy Trail here, and they do. So now we'll Rotten Reunion the Expedition map, and then sack the Zombie token to keep our vampire alive. And the Squirrel is going to die, so we'll sacrifice that to grow the Beetle, and then we'll get 1 Squirrel out of it at the end. But a very large Beetle, and we wiped their board. So not a terrible spot. They can get Tron here, and they do. Only 3 cards in hand, and we have a Nile Spellbomb, so hopefully that'll help. Is a Fangren Marauder? It is. Don't really want to sack the Spellbomb in response here, so that's fine. If that's all they got, though, that's got to chump the Beetle. Yeah. Unless they have a way to lose a guy at instant speed, but I don't think so. So we're going to just play a Vampire, and this Vampire can't be lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but still, they got to block the Beetle, which is pretty good. Unless they have a Toxin Analysis, I guess, for a black mana, which I think is unlikely. They're going to block the Beetle. I don't see a reason to sacrifice anything. So we'll just leave it and pass. 6 mana chump blocker is fine by me. Alright, and we get there. Alright, this hand's not amazing, but it can do a lot of explosive damage out of nowhere. I'm thinking we get 1 Rites of Initiation and we're kind of set. If we get a Nested Shambler, we're set. A Beetle is a great draw. So I think we're going to keep it. Blue is interesting. Just a swamp's not what we want to get. They're going to cycle a Lorien. So usually I'm going to say that means not fairies. It's probably Terror, which we've been seeing a lot of, or it could be High Tide. Augur of Bolas, it could be like Ideas Unbound. Okay, so they're just playing main deck Augur in High Tide. That's interesting. That's new. I kind of want to attack with this in Supernatural Stamina, but I really need a Vampire down. So let's just do that and pass. We're obviously not going to get the turn 3 kill here. We could get a turn 4. They're not going to go for it, though, so we need to draw not more swamps. 3 swamps in a row. Perfect. Well, we're going to attack. They're going to block the Infestation Sage, which I'm going to Supernatural Stamina. Go for the trade. Just 1 damage, but we clear their blocker, and we get an extra guy. I mean, if we get a Nested Shambler off the top, this is 19 damage. They're going to Merchant Scroll. That means we have 1 more turn, I think. Ideally, well, they have a Puppetry, so they could use that to not die. That seems risky, though. Village Rites. Oh, gosh. That's not going to win us the game here, unless... I think we have to go for it right now. I'm not going to Stamina this, because if we get a Shambler, we're going to want to go for it. They could do this pre-combat, though. I think we need to Village Rites now and not use the Stamina and hope to draw something good. I mean, a Carrion Feeder is something. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. We can deal 9 damage. Amazing. Okay. I guess they're going to get another turn and we gotta cry, I guess. I guess we Village Rights here. See if we get any, like a beetle that we can play for next turn, just in case they don't have it already. Those cards aren't very good right now. Pieces of the Puzzle, right away, they do hit a high tide, but that means there's no way they could go off here. The question is, do we even have a win this turn, because we've drawn so poorly. 3 lands, 3 sack guys, and 1 of our removal spells, and 2 of our staminas. Pieces of the Puzzle and high tide. Alright, they're gonna pass. We need something good here. Of course. There's definitely no way we can deal lethal damage with this slop. This isn't even guaranteed win next turn. But, I mean, the chances they don't win here are very low. I guess maybe they need another high tide, but, like, they have a lot of ways to find it. Yep. And they have another one. And they have a third one. They also have Ideas Unbound with 2 puppetries. And they have a Pieces of the Puzzle. I guess if somehow they run out of card draw, we have a shot. There's an Augur for Merchant Scroll, Pieces of the Puzzle, High Tide, Ideas Unbound with 3 puppetries, Brainstorm, Peer Through Depths with all 4 puppetries, for another scroll. Alright, with 4 High Tides, 4 puppetries, and 2 Merchant Scrolls, I think they're going to get there. Let's just go on to the next game. Take out all of our interaction, life gain, and unblockability, although they are playing Augur of Bolas, but I still don't think the Wedding Invitation is necessary. Bring in Rotten Reunions because they're double-bodied, and Mesmeric Fiends for card interaction and disruption. Here we have our Nested Shambler, Supernatural Stamina combo, plus a Carrion Feeder, so let's just start with the Feeder. They're going to pass, we get a Swamp. I'm going to just save it for a turn, because if I just make 1 7/7 feeder and they've brought in snaps or something, or they have Giga Drows or whatever, then they could maybe tap us down. So I'd rather go for this at instant speed for like a giant vampire. So let's wait a little bit. They're going to Brainstorm. And then Cycle Alorian, tapping out, risky, Village Rights. So we have, this is 6 triggers, 7, 8. That's 8. Times 2 is 16, 17, 18. So it's not quite lethal, but I could put them to 1. But all we have is 2 1/1s. But the best they could play is like an Augur and a Giga Drowse, I guess. It's close. It's real close. 8. I think I'd prefer for them to have to spend every single turn tapping these. So I think it's worth it. I think we're going to go for it. Attack. Supernatural Stamina, the Nested Shambler. Sack everything to the vampire. Oh, wait, it's 1 off? But what if I just sack the Carrion Feeder to the vampire? Wouldn't that be an extra damage? Let's see. Yes, I believe it would. So actually, I think this is lethal. I always forget that. All right, let's sack the Carrion Feeder and just go for the lethal play then. 19 damage on turn 3. Feels good. Let's do that again. No land. This one's pretty good. We have Sadistically and Rite of Consumption. So we could put these on the vampire, make 1 giant vampire. We're going to have to get rid of the Rotten Reunion. But this could be a pretty good one. They preordain. A Beetle would be a really good draw to get down turn 1. Mesmeric Fiend isn't bad either. Haven't seen those yet. They go for Merchant Scroll on turn 2. They get a High Tide. I don't think I'm going to Mesmeric Fiend right now. I think I need the sacrifice too much. So next turn, assuming we're not dead, we're going to go for probably Sadistically on the vampire and then Mesmeric Fiend. Sack it to try to rip the High Tide from their hand. They're going to Brainstorm. Good sign for us that we're not dead yet. Also could mean, if they're smart, that they put their good cards on top of their library, but we're going to have to go for the Fiend anyway. Because I don't think we can win here. If we Sadistically this, then this is going to get +3/+3 twice, so it's going to be 7 with a Rite of Consumption. That's not going to work. But we are going to go for the Glee and the Fiend. Ideally, no counterspell, too. Or I guess a bounce effect on the vampire would be annoying. No, that's good. Sacrifice it. They're going to snap the vampire. Weird that they did it after. Okay. I kind of need this vampire. I don't think I can afford to sack it to itself, and there's not really any benefit. I mean, the benefit is they don't untap their mana, but I think we need it. So Glee going away is kind of annoying. Guess we should have put that on the Shambler, but Let's take a card from their hand. Oh gosh, they have so many cards. They didn't brainstorm to save these. That's interesting. Maybe the top 2 cards are also just as good, but we're gonna take a High Tide. That's the deck. They're probably not though. They probably are gonna peer through depths to clear those 2 cards away, is my guess. But now our clock is bad. Oh, they didn't even peer right there. Okay, they're gonna Merchant Scroll. If we get a Supernatural Stamina, we're back on track to, well, we'll be able to hit them for lethal in a turn or 2. They're gonna Brainstorm first, which means they're seeing the cards that they kept on top again. Now they're gonna scroll, okay. Maybe they changed what they wanted to keep or something. Another Shambler is not terrible. Theoretically, if they don't have any interaction, this Vampire plus 2 Shamblers can be 9 damage, and then the right can be another 9. But it's going to be risky to go for, knowing that they have snaps in their deck. They're going to start with a Brainstorm, and they're just passing with mana up. Just a swamp. Well, let's just go to combat, see if they tap down. They don't. They have Appear, Psychic Puppetry, and Ideas Unbound. So if one of their other 2 cards is a snap or a counterspell, we're going to lose by going for it. Like a Muddle the Mixture. But if it's not, we're going to win. I don't think we have another avenue to win anytime soon, unless we top deck like a Supernatural Stamina, so I think we're just going for it. I think we have to, so we're going to sacrifice, make our Vampire a 9/9, and they've got the snap. They didn't tutor for it or anything, they just drew it naturally. They passed to us, and we top deck a swamp. We don't have that many lands in our deck. They cast a High Tide, and another. Who needs tutors when you just draw all the perfect cards? Honestly. Ideas Unbound, Preordain, Reach Through Mists, Ideas Unbound, Augur of Bolas, for pieces of the puzzle, cast that, and other pieces, and Appear Through Depths, Peer with 2 puppetries, Peer Through Depths, Ideas Unbound, Ideas, Lorien Revealed, Brainstorm, and eventually they get there. Alright, here we are, and this hand is not very good. We're going to get rid of it. This one's better, quite a bit. We're going to get rid of 1 Village Rites, but we have the Shambler Stamina, which is pretty good. Since we're on the play, I'm going to lead with the Shambler, because I don't know if they're going to be playing like Burn and be able to just kill the beetle or whatever. Bleeding Woods, interesting. Some sort of burn deck with green, maybe for Burning Tree Emissary. I don't know why they would need green for that, but you know, I think I'm just going to go for the aggro play. We get to hit for 3 here. Make, draw 2 cards, make an army. Then if I can top deck like a Carrion Feeder or something, this beetle can get really big really fast. And either way, we have just 4 damage a turn here. And Sage is okay. I have a Bristling Backwoods. That deals the damage. Some sort of Gruul Burn, I'm assuming. My first thought, other than the Burning Tree, was like, I guess Rancor is good on guys. They Lightning Bolt the Shambler. Worried that we're going to do it again. I don't mind that. I do mind just drawing lands, but I guess we have a pretty reasonable aggro plan at the moment. Assuming they don't have like an End the Festivities in their main deck. Play a Sage and pass. I don't want to play the Beetle until we have a way to grow it. Otherwise, it's just a 1/1 that dies too easily. Faithless Looting. Okay, Gruul Madness, it looks like, which Root Walla makes sense. But you don't need green for that, I guess, for the pump. Okay, so maybe it's mono red Madness, but splashing green just for the pump. I could see that. They're going to temper our face, and we get another Sage. We're going to swing. They're going to trade with the Squirrel. I'm going to play a Sage and pass. Highway Robbery. Gotta be playing Sneaky Snackers too, right? They discard a Wild Mongrel. Interesting. Mountain. Pass. Well, good thing we had a good opener because we are drawing poorly. Attack for 5. And at this point, I think I'm just going to throw out the Beetle because it's just one more guy they got to deal with. So they have to be able to deal with 3 of these to not die now. They bolt us, so they're just trying to go for the win, which seems tough, but I mean, if they have like a Fire Blast and a bunch of bolts they could get there. Fire Blast seems unlikely with dual lands, though. They float 4 and they're playing Chrysalis. Okay. Interesting. I can only get in for 3 here. Another Beetle. Well, I'm going to play this Beetle so that it grows if they sack any of these. I'm just going to swing with everybody. They can block everything, go to 1, eat 3 of our guys, or rather, eat 1 of our guys, and chump 2 of them. This is a time where they actually could block and eat this Beetle, because the Chrysalis won't... It will be bigger than it, but there are definitely times where that's not the case. But they got to choose if they want to grow their Chrysalis, and they do. I don't know if they know that it grows our Beetles, but I'm okay with it. They sack them both, go to 1, and we'll pass. Wild Mongrel. They got a Basking Rootwalla. They got a long way ahead of them if they're going to block all of these. 3 more creatures with only 2 cards. They do have a Fiery Temper to the face. And we get a Village Rites. Let's just attack. And looks like they're taking it. Alright. Took game 1 against Gruul Madness. Spinning Darkness seems fine. Life Staff seems fine. Because they are life gain. Because they are burn. But they also have relevant creatures, so I think Tragic Slip's fine. Crypt Incursion for ourselves seems okay. And they gotta be playing Snackers, right? I'm kind of sideboarding like if they're Rakdos Madness, but not exactly. Wedding Invitation still seems decent, though, because they got the Chrysalis. Rights is good. I think we'll take out Marauders, though. Pinpoint Removal's better. Ghasts don't seem necessary. If we're down Marauders and not playing Fiends, I usually take out Unearth. That puts us at 60, so let's try that. Alright, here we don't have any card draw. But we do have Feeder, Beetle, and a Sadistic Glee to make one of these big... It's kind of rough. We don't have any life gain. I think I'm going to give it a try. This one's kind of interesting. Start with a Faithless Looting. Okay, with no mana. I guess they could get a Brood-Scale. Not Brood-Scale, the Rootwalla, Basking Rootwalla. 1 or 2 of them down. They do get a Basking Rootwalla, and they pitch a Wild Mongrel. Another Swamp is good. Makes this hand a lot better. We'll just start with a Link Breaker. They plot a Highway Robbery. Pass. Okay. I think we just play another Link Breaker and a Carrion Feeder. Then we've built up enough creatures that if they go for a Bolt on the Feeder, we can sack a bunch to keep it alive if we want. But it also opens it up so next turn we can play like a Beetle and maybe even a Sadistic Glee to like supercharge the Carrion Feeder. But I guess if we sack all of these this turn, we're not going to be able to. So we'll see what they do here. I'm assuming it's going to be like a Fiery Temper, which is probably why they plotted it last turn. Arrogant Worm. That's a 4/4 trample, I think. But they don't have green mana. 4/4 trample for 3. I think there's a red version of this too, but interesting. They didn't have madness. They didn't have green mana to pay for it, so that's good for us. And a Village Rites. We have a bunch of mana up. I'm going to play a Beetle, and I think I'm just going to Sadistically this Feeder. They didn't have any response to that, so now it's going to grow much too quickly, I think, for them to deal with it. We're going to block here. We're going to sack the Link Breaker. Yield to 1,000,000 triggers. Eat the Rootwalla, that grows this as well. We'll pass. Grab the prize, and they do have a Snacker. Didn't leave up a Rotten Reunion, but we're already in a good enough spot. I'm not too concerned with it. The Lightning Bolt us. Interesting. Bloodthrone Vampire. So we will just grow the Feeder. I'm pretty sure we can have lethal here, right? Because this will be 4, 5 triggers, which is 15 damage at least. So yeah, you can easily have lethal here. Stamina the Link Breaker. Sack it. 1,000,000 triggers. Sacrifice it again. Sack a Mercenary. And sack a Mercenary, and that's going to be plenty. Heal him 19. Alright, last round here. We have both Sadistic Glees. Unearth, Carrion Feeder, we're on the play. It's pretty interesting. I guess we'll give it a try. I'm interested to see how the Sadistic Glees works. We have 2 of them, so we can put, well, like, 1 to supercharge the Feeder, maybe 1 on the Nested Shambler, and I'm just going to lead on a Ghast. Great Furnace and a Percussionist. I just want to trade with this right away, get a treasure. Yeah, seeing as we don't have the second land, I think I will. We do draw the second land, and they also get 1. Okay. That's not bad, actually. I can just play a Shambler, and I can Carrion Feeder, and I'm going to unearth the Shambler so that our Carrion Feeder survives 1 bolt. I'm worried if I put a Sadistic Glee on it, then they're going to be like throw 2 bolts at it. Whereas they obviously still could, but I don't think they're going to care about that. I think they're going to go with like a Kessig Flame Breather or something here. Rally at the Hornberg, that's fine too. And then I can play my 2 Sadistic Glees this turn and just clean up a lot. So I think Sadistic Glee on the Feeder and the Shambler, actually. Because then I can sack the Ghast, get a treasure. These are both going to grow. Play an Infestation Sage, and these can both just be enormous. This feels pretty good, honestly. Sack the Shambler. Just going to make a treasure. And then I'm going to play the Sage. And I'm even going to sack that right away so that these... There's no like, oh, I'll sack it, and then they bolt in response shenanigans. And now I just have 2 big creatures. And of course I can just sack the Shambler to make an even bigger creature. They're going to take it. I think I will just sack this, hit for as much as possible. And actually, could I have 1 there? If I sacrifice this, I could have just won. They concede. Okay, I made a mistake because if I sack the Shambler there, I would get 4 squirrels. Meanwhile, this is growing 2 times per. Then I have 4 squirrels, so that's 5 more double triggers, so 10. So I would have won right there. But they concede because they see the writings on the wall. So pretty good start for us. The Sadistic Glees did not disappoint. Seeing as they're playing Rally at the Hornberg, Red Rally, we are bringing in the Drown in Sorrows, as well as the Rusalka, of course, the Life Staff and the Incursion. All right, and we're taking out 2 Marauders, 2 Unearth. I originally had in my guide that I would take out Sadistic Glees here, but Entropete, one of the very prolific Black Sac players in our Discord, make sure to check that out if you haven't, suggested keeping them in to do exactly what I just did, and it seems like it works pretty well. So I think I'm going to keep them in and keep trying that, and I'm probably going to update the guide. I think since they are creature-based, I don't mind losing the invitation, because if they chump with all their guys, it's not a big deal, and we'll lose 1 Link Breaker. All right, here we have kind of a rough 1-lander. We do have a lot of sideboard cards, which is pretty good, but we don't really have anything else. 1 Shambler, and then maybe a Carrion Feeder, and then nothing. Like, this is too much other stuff, I think. 1 to 2 I'm okay with. This is too much. This one's not a great either, because we have 2 Beetles but no Feeder. But I'm going to keep it. I think we're going to get rid of the Stamina, hoping to find the Feeder. They just have a great Furnace, and nothing is good for us. We're going to play the Sage. Leading on the Sage here, because if I end up Drowning and Sorrowing, like in 2 turns, then I don't want the Shambler to be on the field, because it would make no squirrels. They actually just Galv Blast the Sage, because they're worried enough about it, which I like. They do have a Burning Tree Emissary, and then a Rally. So I think I'm just going to trade off, because I'm likely going to Drown and Sorrow in a couple turns, especially since we just drew a land there. I think I'm just going to pass, take whatever damage they got this turn, and then Drown. Just swinging for 3. And then another Burning Tree. I like that. Burn the mana. Sadistically could be okay. We're going to wipe the board. And we really don't need another piece of fodder yet. I mean, I don't hate it, but we need the Carrion Feeder first, or Bloodthorn Vampire. Or even just a Village Rites would be okay, but they got nothing. Of course, they can hold up Burn here, but Supernatural Stamina is pretty good. So I'm just going to throw out a Shambler and 1 Beetle. Why not? It's a bit of a lightning rod. It'll probably eat a bolt, but it also makes it so that they can't just stock up on all their bolts and then kill us that way. I'm not going to throw out another one because, first of all, I don't want to get End the Festivitied, and I want to have the stamina up, or if they do try to kill our guys. Another Emissary. A bolt on the Beetle. I think that's fine. I could save it, but I just think this is way too much better with the Shambler. They have another land, so 1 land left, or 1 card left. Swamp. I think we're just going to pass. We're under no pressure now that we know they only have 1 card in hand. I'm not going to attack because I don't want to trade 1 for 2. I will block and go for the stamina, and if they have the bolt, it's fine. Looks like they might not. Either that or they're just hoping for this, you know, if I get a bunch of guys and they have the End of the Festivities, then they're wiped away, but that's fine. Or an Electrickery, maybe. Cast into the Fire, that's totally fine. We still have 3 squirrels left over, and a Sadistically. Kind of annoying because we have no way to actually sacrifice anything, so I can't just throw these on anything. But I have 3 1/1s, so I guess I'll start attacking with those. Reckless Impulse into 2 lands is pretty good for us. Village Rites. Okay, there's something. Let's Village Rites and Let me just double Sadistically this Mortician Beetle. Okay, they conceded. I was going to double Sadistically and then Village Rites so that it would get out of bolt range. Maybe they have a bolt right there and they kill it in response, but we still draw 2 and we're in an okay spot. We got a 3-2 with the deck. Not the best record ever, but honestly, things happen. I think both of the losses that we had were just very unlucky. I'm pretty confident that we're favored against High Tide, but that first game we drew very poorly, 3 lands in a row, and weren't able to kill them by turn 6. Understandably, they won that game. And then the game 3, we got a little bit unlucky. We're slow enough, but they naturally drew 2 snaps and then 2 High Tides in pretty much the exact time that they needed them. So it's going to happen sometimes. And White Weenie, I think that last game was looking really, really good for us, and they just happened to top deck the win condition. If they hadn't done that, we would have wiped their entire board. They had a couple guys in hand, a couple Squadron Hawks, and a Prismatic Strands in their graveyard, but we had, I believe, 2 6/6s or something like that. I'm pretty confident we would have won that game too, so everybody's going to be gotten by a little bit of variance now and then, and it doesn't mean the deck's bad, just it wasn't your night. So if you're interested in picking up my comprehensive Black Sac guide featuring this deck, then check the link in the description. You can buy it for $10, or you can sign up for my Patreon at $10 or more, and you'll get access to it as well. Speaking of, thank you so much to my patrons, including my $10 patrons Howard Granger, FaZe, Styx, Laars, and JMW. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.